Hello, everybody. My name is Debbie Gordon, and I'm really happy to be with you tonight on our Wednesday wellness class as we talk about essential oils for the newborn and infant. I'm going to be honing in on particularly the newborn and maybe that first year of life and all the little different developmental stages that our babies go through. Let me start by saying that stepping into parenthood is perhaps the greatest privilege and responsibility that we have. And perhaps there's no more important human effort than to bear and rear children, but it can be a bit overwhelming. And with a little preparation, education, and some essential oils before baby arrives, we can promote an incredible transition so that it's not so overwhelming. Let me just share a little bit about my experience. First of all, I've been working with childbearing women for 34 years now as a nurse, a labor and delivery nurse, an OBGYN, maternal newborn nurse, as a doula, a hypnobirthing practitioner, a childbirth educator. That has been my love and my passion for a long time, and I have loved where my career has taken me. I will say also that I am the mother of 5 boys. I have, my oldest is 23, my youngest is 12, and they challenge me each and every day in a good sort of way. There's nothing more enlightening than working with boys that just keep you hopping, let me tell you, and it keeps me young. So I was the 7th child of 13 in my family growing up, and I always had a baby in my arms. And at the age of 11, I announced that I was going to be a nurse when I grew up and that I wanted to work with mothers and babies. And I did pursue that. When I graduated from high school, I went right into nursing school. And then I landed a job as a graduate nurse in labor and delivery at my hometown hospital in Casper, Wyoming. That was the love of my life. It has been my profession since. I worked in Wyoming for about 3 years, and then I came down here to Utah when I married my husband, Jay, and we have been married for almost 32 years now. And so that's a beautiful thing. So, all right. So let me share my screen here for a minute and talk a little bit about essential oils in the newborn. And maybe what I want to start off with is talking a little bit about what essential oils are. Now, essential oils are the natural aromatic compounds of plants. We find them on all parts of the plants: the leaves, the stem, the roots, the bark, the flower, the seed, the whatever, the bark of the trees. We find them in all parts of the plant. And the doTERRA difference is that doTERRA sources their oils all over the world, where they grow indigenous or they grow naturally. And then they're very mindful of what part of the plant they're going to distill. That's a really important piece. And so as they are mindful of that, they are also mindful about what time of the harvest, even what time of the day, and under what temperatures we distill it, for how long. And all of that makes a really big difference with regards to you and me and the end product that we receive. And so as I started off my parenting experience, and my husband and I were married for 8 years before we adopted our first son, Jason, and 3.5 years later we adopted Jonathan. And 3.5 years later, my 7th pregnancy, we carried to term and we got Matthew. A couple of years later, we got Benjamin without any issue, another miscarriage, and then we got Aaron in our later years, just before I turned 43. And he came to us 8 weeks early after a placental abruption. And so each one of our children were a miracle. Let me just tell you that. Each one of them, and the way they came into our world, was a miracle. And I will say that as I stepped into parenthood, I don't know that we could ever feel fully prepared. But as I was working through the challenges of raising children and raising boys and raising 6 children, you know what? I had to find solutions. I did not enjoy running off to the doctor. And with our first boy, when he was about 18 months old, he ended up with croup, and we had to admit him to Primary Children's Hospital. Now, my nursing experience certainly played a role here, and I probably kept him home longer than most parents. But I told my husband what signs we were looking for to know that we needed to move to the hospital, and we did see those signs, and we headed for the hospital. Now, we got to the nearest hospital to our home, and they were not prepared to take a pediatric patient. And so we were transported to Primary Children's Medical Center at the time. And I believe, Jason went by ambulance, and I drove the car behind them. And so my husband accompanied Jason on the ambulance, or vice versa. I can't really remember now. That's really interesting. maybe I was in the ambulance and my husband was behind us in the car. I don't remember now, actually. But I remember getting there and feeling really out of my comfort zone. Now, I had worked with babies for a long time, but I was way out of my comfort zone with our baby being sick. And suddenly, everything I had learned in nursing school kind of went out the window. Well, to make a long story short, we were there for only overnight. But Jason was put on corticosteroids, had some breathing treatments. I spent the night at the hospital, and then we brought him home later the next day, and were able to manage him thereafter. Our second boy, when he came along, he had croupy cough chronically. And I remember feeling so uncomfortable with this, and we would grab him and wrap him in a blanket and go out and walk the streets at night, walk our neighborhood, the sidewalks rather, and take him in the cool air to open up his breathing passageways. And finally, I talked to my pediatrician and I said, could we get some corticosteroids? Could we get the dexamethasone, which is what they put Jason on to open up his airways so that we don't have to end up in the ER? And so he prescribed 10 little pills for me. Now, my husband was a pharmacist by this time. I put him through pharmacy school, and he graduated from pharmacies before we adopted our firstborn son. And that was more than 23 years ago now. So my husband, as a pharmacist, he broke up those little dexamethasone tablets. Now, they are about the size of, oh gosh, I'm looking around saying, what? They are about the size of, well, if you've used homeopathics, they're about the size of a homeopathic tablet. They smaller than a pencil eraser for sure. Smaller, about the size, depending on the pen, about the size of the pusher on the end of a big pen, okay? But they were pretty small, and my husband mashed those into little grains, and then he would give Jonathan a grain of dexamethasone rather than the pill, okay? Because he knew, as a pharmacist, what the ramifications were for that boy getting dexamethasone or corticosteroids when he was less than a year. Well, Jonathan was chronically croupy up through his teenage years. He would wake up in the night and he would come into our room with that big breathing issue and sounding like Darth Vader, and unable to breathe. And I would jump out of bed and we'd go by the sidewalk until we found doTERRA. And it all changed when we found doTERRA. Let me tell you, it all changed. And after we found doTERRA, I rubbed Breathe essential oil on his chest and back with some fractionated coconut oil, and then put him in the shower for 10 minutes, or however long he wanted to stay there, but it was about 10 minutes. And we all went back to sleep. Now, you may have heard that story before, but let me tell you what that did for me. Okay, that changed my world. And as I began to learn more and more about the essential oils, I began to recognize that, first of all, when I had at my fingertips what I needed when I needed it with my babies and with my children, it brought me tremendous peace of mind. And I didn't have that fear. I didn't feel like I had to run out to the doctor or the hospital. I didn't have that fear anymore. And so they have literally been life-changing. And I cannot tell you the thousands and thousands of dollars we have saved over the last 9+ years as we have reached for our essential oils and managing our family's well-being. It has been such an incredible blessing. And I feel obligated to share that. Now, let me just say out front, as I say that, I want to get these oils into every home. It is my mission and desire to create a healer in every home, to educate other mothers like myself, to educate fathers, to educate individuals, to educate even grandparents. I want to educate and create a healer in every home so that they have what they need at their fingertips and so that they feel comfortable reaching for it and knowing how to use it. Now, I got to tell you that I recommend some resource books, okay? I have always said you can do anything with these oils if you have a good resource book at your fingertips, and I've got a pile of them back here on my table, okay? But as I reach for a resource book, this was the first book that I was introduced to. I recommend this book. It's the Modern Essentials book, and this is the 10th edition. And so I would get in this book and I would look up what I needed. When I had my first doTERRA class, and I actually had been searching for more information on essential oils. I had been using essential oils for a couple of decades before I found doTERRA. And so I had been searching for information because before I found doTERRA, my experience was that sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't. And I really thought it was me. I thought I needed to learn more. I needed to know more. Maybe the cashier at the health food store can help me. But at any rate, I will say that I just kept searching for information, prayerfully so. And I was at a nursing conference, and those of you who have heard my story, it's not changed. I was at a nursing conference and I was a presenter. My husband was there supporting me, and my husband wandered through the vendor tables, and he came and found me and said, "Come here, come with me. You're going to want to see this." And when I saw Peggy Smith's table with doTERRA essential oils all over it, I knew immediately that a prayer had been answered, that I had found what I had been looking for, and that I wanted everything on her table. Okay. And so I gave her my business card and asked her to call me the next week. She did. And when she called me, my response was, "Peggy, I've always wanted to learn more about essential oils. How soon can you do a class for me? And how many would I need to have present to make it worth your while?" Now, I'm not sure she'd ever experienced anybody like me before with my desire to make it worth her while. I knew what time and effort went into doing a class, as I had taught many of them before that time. And so she came and taught a class for me, and I called until I had 8 confirmations, and all 8 of those ladies came, and we sat around my dinner table and actually barraged Peggy with questions for 3 solid hours. And I got to tell you that when I bought this book off of her that night, this is the 10th edition, I bought the first edition off of her. When I bought that book off of her that night, I began reading it cover to cover, and then I was designated as the neighborhood expert. Wished I wouldn't have taken that role, because it changed what I decided to do in creating a healer in every home. And now I try to educate others so that they can be the healer in their home, so that they can feel empowered, so that they can find solutions and listen to those intuitive voices that we are gifted as parents. And so this was my first book, and I have several others, and I may refer to several others tonight. But one book that I want to refer to is Stephanie Fritz, Essential Oils in Pregnancy, Birth, and Babies. This is a great resource that I have used for many years, and I know Stephanie personally, and I love what she does. She is a home birth midwife out of Arizona. Jenny West is a home birth midwife out of Albuquerque, but Stephanie Fritz is the one that wrote this book. Okay, and so there's some great information here. So as I share with you tonight, I hope that you will find some simple solutions and find why you need these oils in your home. Now, one of my top strengths is learner. And I love, love, love learning. And I love sharing that information with others and asking good questions so that they can find solutions for themselves. So as I took a look at what do these parents need to have to take care of these babies in that first year of life, these are 2 of the kits that I recommend, but I have lots of other oils that I recommend, and we're going to talk about them tonight, okay? So up on top, you have the doTERRA Touch Kit. Now, these are roller bottles that are already diluted for children with fractionated coconut oil. So they're already diluted. Now, these are to be used on children greater than 3 years old. And so what I'm going to tell you here tonight is that with newborn babies and infants, you need to dilute them further or use just a little bit, okay? And so when I have a foot, okay, on a baby, and I have a roller bottle, and I have a foot, and I wanted to have my baby doll here, and I forgot about it, so it's down in my office. But you just want to roll that and then rub it all over the foot, right? You just want to roll it on. But if I have an older child, I might roll it up the entire foot, right? And then rub it in, okay, into the entire foot, all right? And so with a newborn baby, you're just going to touch it, okay? You're not going to cover the foot with the oil, and then you're going to rub it in over the foot. And for the most part, with newborn babies and infants, you're going to be, I'm going to give some other suggestions, but you're going to be really in good hands if you apply the oils to the feet, okay? Now, how much dilution do we need for a young baby? I'm going to suggest that 1 drop to a half a teaspoon or more of fractionated coconut oil is a pretty good dilution factor, okay? 1 drop to about a half a teaspoon or more in a newborn, okay? Now, I really want to tune you in to your motherly and fatherly instinct, though, in caring for your babies. You get to choose. So as you make a roller bottle, and one of the suggestions I'm going to show you tonight is that you consider purchasing from doTERRA some roller bottles. Actually, that's not a very good picture on the computer. Some roller bottles. Consider purchasing some spray top bottles. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Here's a roller bottle, okay? And it comes with a roller top that we're going to put into the bottle, okay? And then it comes with a lid that you're going to screw on after you fill it up and work that roller down into the bottle, okay? You're going to want to purchase a 6-pack of roller bottles. They're really reasonable. I think they're $4.75 for 6 of them, which is cheaper than you can get them anywhere else, including Amazon, unless you buy them in large quantities. And these roller bottles are amber, which is really great, protecting from sunlight. And the roller tip has a still roller bottle. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but it has a still roller bottle. It has this dark black plastic, which is a firm plastic, which is much better than the other roller bottles that I've bought up from aromatools.com. Aromatools.com is that other website that I have gone to for many years, and also better than Amazon. They have all plastic, and it's the same white flimsy plastic, and it doesn't apply as well as this still roller bottle. So let me just tell you that they're cheaper from doTERRA. You can just add it to your monthly order, and you get 6 of them for $4.75. It's a really great deal. And then doTERRA has these spray pot bottles that come in really handy. These are 30 ml bottles. In fact, I have a slide coming up here. These are 30 milliliter bottles. And the only difficulty with these is that they're really dark plastic, and you really have to shine a flashlight. I always turn on my phone flashlight and shine it down there to see where I'm at in filling up the bottle, okay? Because I cannot see through this. Even if I hold it up to light, I can't see through it. So that's the only drawback of these these spray top bottles. And then you're going to want some sample bottles, okay? Now these little 5/8 dram sample bottles hold about 30, maybe 40 drops max, okay? And these come in really handy. And when you're diluting oils for little babies, these come in really handy. So consider grabbing a 12-pack of those little sample bottles as you anticipate taking care of your new baby, okay? And your other children, actually, they come in really handy, all right? And then you can carry them in your purse. Get a keychain. I didn't talk about that on my slides, but get a keychain from doTERRA at $6.50. Comes with 8 of these little roller bottles, or excuse me, 8 of these little sample bottles, okay? And then you can put in it whatever you want. But a 12-pack, I'm still going to recommend a 12-pack because I'm going to show you why later on, okay? But these 2 kits are 2 kits that I recommend if you're new to essential oils. And I would love to help you get started with essential oils. So if you are new to essential oils and you do not have a wholesale membership with doTERRA, and let me just say that I have been around the block, okay? I have used oils for more than 30 years. I've trained parents and done education pieces all over the world, and I have been exposed to dozens more brands than I have personally used, and doTERRA holds the market with purity and potency, and I will say that unequivocally. For sure, doTERRA holds the market in purity and potency. You cannot get better. And I don't care whoever else out there says that they've got pure essential oils like doTERRA, it is not so. Because 96+% of doTERRA oils are exclusive to doTERRA, where they have a cooperative setup with the growers and they sell only to doTERRA. So that is not true. And furthermore, APRC, which is the third-party entity that does doTERRA's third-party testing, they have tested over 30 different essential oil companies, and only 3 of them come back with unadulterated oils. Only 3 of them. doTERRA is one of those 3. Another company is a Ma and Pa store that's very small, and their oils are 4 times as expensive as ours because of the overhead. Actually, they don't have much overhead, but because of the effort they go to distill their oils and to collect their oils. And then the third company was actually in bankruptcy, weren't going to be around much longer, okay? So most of the oils that you will find on the market today, sadly, are adulterated. I recommend that you buy your doTERRA oils from doTERRA. Do not buy them on Amazon because many people have undercutted us and are tainting doTERRA's oils and selling them on Amazon, making us look like we do not have certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. And there was no standard in the industry before doTERRA, and doTERRA set the bar. They raised the bar and they set the standard, okay? But there are few. There are virtually none that have the standard, have the quality, have the purity and potency that are tried and trusted and proven and tested again and again and consistently therapeutically beneficial. We don't see that with other oils. So in order to get a wholesale membership, you do have to be sponsored by somebody. And if you don't have a sponsor, somebody that you have already been talking to, I would love to be that sponsor. So email me at Debbie Gordon, DebbieGordon, 1026@gmail.com. Email me at DebbieGordon1026@gmail.com, or text me at 801-913-2633. Text me at 801-913-2633, and I will help you get started, all right? And I want you to know that when you work with me, you get a wellness advocate. I will work for you. Okay, I will help you learn how to use these oils. I will help you learn how to find solutions. I will help you feel comfortable and confident reaching for your oils first. And I will help introduce you to all kinds of resources and helpful tools to help make it simple, safe, and easy, okay? And so as I go back to these kits again, the Touch Kit, like I said, is already diluted for children and primarily targeted for children age 3 and up. And so you're going to need to dilute them further for infants, newborns, and that first year of life, okay? And then the Home Essentials Enrollment Kit is one of my favorite starter kits, all right? And you see that on the kit. That comes with a diffuser. It comes with what I call our 10 basic oils. And the Touch Kit also has 9 basic oils minus the lemon oil. Tell you why in a minute. But the Home Essentials Kit comes with 10 basic essential oils that you will reach for every single day of your life as you are raising children. We reach for these oils every single day without fail. There's not a day that goes by that we are not reaching from something from this basic 10, if not multiples from this basic 10. As I look at what I've used already today, I have used frankincense, lemon, deep blue, breathe, digestin, On Guard. I don't think today I've used actually oregano, and I'm surprised that I don't think I've used lavender yet. And I haven't used melaleuca. And literally, lavender and melaleuca are go-tos every single day. So at any rate, the Home Essentials Kit is something you will reach for every single day. And let me tell you, as I started looking at this and started making a list of everything that I would recommend that you have for that first year of life, I would buy the Touch Kit, I would buy the Home Essentials Kit, I would buy all of this that I have on the screen. And it's pretty pricey, right, to get everything all at once. But doTERRA has a program called the Loyalty Rewards Program for those loyal customers who make this their wellness plan. And this is our family's wellness plan. And we order every month. So you can get it little by little by little. And I promise doTERRA has a kit for you that will service your needs and help you get started. And I would love to guide you on that, okay? So we're going to be talking about some of these as we go through. Okay, so this is, as a bare minimum, I would say the Touch Kit and a bottle of myrrh. That will get you started through that newborn period. The Touch Kit and the myrrh. And then you're going to need some tools. You're going to need some roller bottles. You're going to need some spray tops. You're going to need some sample bottles. Okay, and those are minuscule in price. All right. So another option is the kids collection, and I absolutely love this. But again, it's labeled for children 3 and older, so you're going to need to dilute it further, all right? Now, I will have an entire class on the kids collection at some future time, and so know that this is coming, and I will post some stuff. I'll be doing some live Facebooks, and I'm going to go through this kids collection on our Creating a Healer in Every Home Facebook page. Creating a Healer in Every Home with Debbie Gordon is our team Facebook page, and I will be going through this and doing some live Facebooks, okay? Looking forward to that. I'm actually letting go of some obligations that I've been very busy with lately so that I can have more time to do more live Facebook. So I'm looking forward to that. But one of our immune blends is our Stronger blend. Our Balance blend is our Steady blend. That's our Grounding blend. We've got Calmer that would be really, really nice for a baby. And then we've got Rescuer that's also very nice for rescuing them if they're uncomfortable. The Stronger is our immune blend. These are phenomenal blends that our school-age children can actually take to school with them and use them when they need to feel brave, when they need to feel calmer, when they need to think more clearly. And little children just know what these words mean. Stronger, steady, brave. I love to ask children, when do you think you might need brave? And without giving them any prompts whatsoever, the cutest responses come back. And most of the time they say, when I'm feeling scared, or when I need more courage, one little boy said. I absolutely loved that. When do you think you'll need calmer? When I need to feel more calm or go to sleep. Yes, that's a really great time to use calmer. So the kids collection is magnificent, all right? But you'll want to dilute it a little further for a newborn baby, okay? So basically, I'm just going to tell you that you need the Every Oil Kit. Okay. Now, some people will be able to do this. Some people will be able to start here with the Every Oil Kit. And I promise that if you work with me, I will teach you how to use every single oil that doTERRA offers. It is a magnificent kit and one of my favorite. And I've got it right here beside me because I'm going to be reaching for it tonight. Okay. All right. So let's get started with a newborn baby. And so these babies are born to us, and it should be a beautiful, magnificent experience. It should be a spiritual experience. It should be a peaceful, calm, gentle experience for mother and baby. And as a doula and a hypnobirthing practitioner, that is what I offer to my clients. And I do still teach hypnobirthing classes, and I would love to help you. So reach out to me again at debbiegordon1026@gmail.com, or text me at 801-913-2633 if I can help you prepare for your birth. Okay. I've done that for a long time, and I love that. And I love to empower mothers in their birth, because how a mother gives birth is how she will walk into motherhood. And so we don't want to strip her of her confidence in her birthing experience, or she's going to walk into motherhood waiting for somebody else to tell her how to do everything. And we don't want that. And so I want to empower mothers in their birthing experience right off the bat. And so as these little babies are born, in those first few minutes or the first couple of hours, one of the things I love to do is anoint the baby with essential oils. And there's a lot of differing opinions out there with essential oils with newborns, okay? Some people will say they're very strong. You want baby to smell mother's scent. Well, let me tell you that if you have a mother that's been using essential oils before baby is born, that is part of mother's scent, okay? And they will recognize that as part of mother's scent, because I promise if she's been using them during pregnancy, baby recognizes that, and they are not the least bit offensive to the baby, okay? And so this is what I love to anoint the baby with. I love to put a bit of frankincense right on the crown of the baby's head. Now, as I put frankincense on the crown of the baby's head, okay, you don't even need a drop. If you take an open bottle of frankincense and you do this, okay, and put it right back here on the crown of the baby's head, okay, that's a beautiful thing. Now, you can use a whole drop. Some people differ with me on that, but you can use a whole drop, or you can take one of these little sample bottles and put 3 or 4 drops of frankincense in there and fill it up with fractionated coconut oil and use that. Okay, but really touch. And when I say touch the bottle or a touch of frankincense, okay, that's what I mean. So a touch of frankincense, this is what I'm talking about. And on the crown of the baby's head, okay. Now, I love to put frankincense around my eyes, and I love to put it on my third eye to help me feel confidence. And I absolutely love the aroma of frankincense. To me is absolutely heavenly. And that's what it does. It connects us with our paternal divinity. Okay, so frankincense is magnificent, and I love to help bring the baby into this world with that touch of divinity, okay, connecting them to their paternal divinity and to their parents, their earthly parents, and helping them know that we are here to help them on their mortal journey, okay? I love to put a drop of myrrh, and it's going to take more than a touch of myrrh, but a drop of myrrh around their umbilical cord, okay? Now, myrrh connects us with our maternal divinity, okay? And for me, excuse me, I may need to get my water bottle. For me, myrrh oil is the oil of mother baby, okay? Bonding. And so if a mother and baby have been separated any time during the birthing process or after birth, I want the myrrh, okay? I want the myrrh to be used to actually connect them together again. And it really does help strengthen their relationship. And so if a mother and baby have been separated, myrrh is your oil of choice. But I love to take a drop of myrrh and put it around the umbilical cord stump and on the umbilical cord stump. Remember that the umbilical cord is where the baby connects with the mother. That's where they receive all their oxygen and nutrients during their time in the womb, during their growing time in the womb, okay? And so, oh, myrrh's delicious, okay? It's really yummy, too. Also a very earthly smell. So if you've read in the Bible about frankincense and myrrh, having them in your home is magnificent, okay, and really delightful. But myrrh oil on the umbilical cord, where it's cut, just put it over there. It's kind of like a liquid seal. There's some beautiful properties to myrrh. Myrrh oil, chemically speaking, is very, very close to colostrum, to the mother's first breast milk, okay? And so that's not by accident. It's not by accident at all, okay? And so as you put that over the umbilical cord stump to seal it in, because that umbilical cord, okay, when they come and cut it, it's got 3 vessels and it's open to the entire body of the baby. Now, they have a clamp on it, right? They have a clamp on it, but if you'll just seal that with myrrh oil and then apply it around the umbilical, around the belly, around the stump, okay, where it connects to the belly, it doesn't necessarily dry out the cord. That's not why we use it. We use it to seal it off and also remember that connection and keep that baby and mother connected, okay? If you've been separated and you find that even as the child gets older, that you've got there's a void in your relationship, in your bonding relationship, consider applying myrrh to both mama and baby. Have the baby or the child apply it to your heart, and you apply it to the child's heart, okay? And it does some incredible healing, okay? I also love to take balance. Balance is our grounding blend, okay? And balance is delightful. In our home, it's the Be Nice oil. And with balance, I love to take this and rub it down the baby's spine and the feet, and you're going to take more than a touch. You might use a whole drop of balance, okay? And to use a whole drop, just put a drop in your hand and then take a little bit by little and rub it down the baby's spine and then rub it on their feet. And what I see often when I do that with the babies, what I see often is that they go, there's like this big sigh. And I might say something like, welcome. That was a big journey. Birthing can be intense for mother and baby, but it's not meant to be painful and miserable. Okay? It's meant to be this incredible transition from one world to another world. Okay? And so it should be beautiful. And then I love to take Melissa. Now, Melissa oil is one of our most expensive oils. Okay? And it's a beautiful oil. It's the oil of light. And so Melissa oil clears the dark clouds. Now, let me just tell you that sometimes these babies come in the world with a dark cloud around them, not by anything of their doing, but by what's going on around them, by how they are welcomed into the world. Hang on 1 minute. I grab some water. I filled this up before I started teaching, but then I decided to change the locations. And I'm going to add some lime oil to my water bottle. See if that will clear up my throat so it's much more calm. So you can have a product experience right here as I use lime oil in my water and get rid of that frog in my throat. Okay, so Melissa oil is one that as the oil of light lifts that gray cloud, really helps them recognize their spirituality still. But it's also a magnificent one to clear them of any impurities, okay, of whatever they've been exposed to in the womb or outside the womb. It's a wonderful oil. It smells divine. It's a really great oil. I'll talk about Melissa oil more, but what I'd like to do is apply it to the baby's feet. It's a little bit strong. I love to put a drop under my tongue if I'm feeling like I'm getting under the weather, okay? It's a little bit strong, but just putting a bit of this on the baby's feet, okay, is magnificent and has some real quality spiritual healing benefits for that baby, okay? All right, so I'm recommending the tools. I recommend a couple of bottles of fractionated coconut oil. And the fractionated coconut oil is what we dilute oils with, okay? It's a very light oil, very friendly to the skin. When you make a roller bottle, you've got to have a liquid, not a paste. So what they've done with this is they've taken the virgin coconut oil and taken out the long chain fats. And then we have a liquid, and sorry about that. My son's taken off with somebody, I don't know who. We have a liquid now that does not have the aroma of coconut oil, all right? And so, I'm going to find out what he's gone off with. So that's a great benefit to diluting the oils with that, and you're going to need that, okay? Now, one bottle, I'm going to talk to you about one bottle. I'd love to make up 1 4-ounce bottle of fractionated coconut oil, the whole bottle. And I'm going to put in this bottle 3 to 4 drops each of lavender, melaleuca, Roman chamomile, and frankincense. Now take a picture of this slide. I'm going to put 3 to 4 drops each in this 4-ounce bottle. 3 to 4 drops each of lavender, melaleuca, Roman chamomile, and frankincense. So you're going to have 12 to 16 drops of essential oil in 4 ounces. All right, very dilute. All right, but this is something I love to gift to new mothers and to my doula clients. This is something that I love to give to them because I use it for everything. And I will label this bottle, this fractionated coconut oil. I'll label this bottle with those 4 oils so they know that it's got essential oils in it. Okay, and then I use it for everything for the newborn baby. Okay, I use it on their bottom, and I love to take it to the hospital. Okay, because when this baby is losing their is having meconium stools, that dark, thick, black, tarry stool that newborns have. It sticks to the skin and it's like tar. And so if they will apply this, even with that very first diaper change, that meconium stool will not stick to the skin and it won't be such a cleaning mess. You'll be so pleased that it will just kind of wipe off with the wet wipe. You won't have to use 6 or 8 or 10 wet wipes, okay? Because if you oil up the bottom, then the meconium stool won't stick to it, okay? So I love to use it for diaper rash prevention, okay? Now, are they going to come to us with diaper rash? No, they are not. And when they are born, what I really love is that baby put skin to skin on mother's belly with a warm blanket or towel over the top of them, and not have that vernix, that white cheesy coating, not have that vernix wiped off of them, because that's the best skin protector ever. But when they wipe that off in birth, then they need a little skin lubricant. Their skin will get dry, and it won't be moist and supple. And so having that fractionated coconut oil with those essential oils in it is really magnificent. And then I like to keep that on the diaper change table when she goes home, so that she can use that each time she changes the baby's diaper, and you will not see diaper rash if you're using that for prevention. You don't need a little bit. You just need a little tiny drizzle, and then rub it on your hands, and then rub it over the baby's bottom, all over their bottom, okay? So it's obviously really great for dry skin, any dry skin patches. It's really great for a fussy or an irritable baby because of the lavender and Roman chamomile and frankincense in there. It's really calming, okay? And so it will help with a fussy, irritable baby. So if you suspect they might have a tummy ache, then rub it in a clockwise motion over the belly, okay? As you're looking at the baby's on their back in front of you on a change table or on your bed or on the floor, whatever, or on a blanket, whatever, on your lap. As you're looking at them, rub just a little drizzle of that, and then rub it on their belly in a clockwise motion, okay? And if you find them pulling up their legs or passing a lot of gas or not having constipation, not going to the bathroom readily, this is a really great thing to use. I love it for infant massage. I love it as part of the bedtime routine after their bath. And so you're going to see me refer to this bottle. So I'm going to call it the 4-ounce My Favorite DIY for new moms, okay, as we go through these slides. Okay, and I'm taking a little bit long to get through. So these are some other things you're going to want, okay, to add to your. Now we've got a baby care kit that's actually on back order right now, okay. We will see this again sometime this summer, but this is a really good starter. Fractionated coconut oil. I'm going to recommend 2 bottles because you're going to add to it. And so if I get the touch kit and I make this, how much do I put in it? Because it's not drops of oil, they're already diluted. So I'm going to suggest that you just pour a little bit. You're going to have to take the roller off. You're going to have to take off this, work off this roller, okay, top of these roller bottles. You're going to have to work this off. So I'll get a paper towel and I'll just wiggle it back and forth and pull it out. Okay. And then I'm just going to pour. I'm going to take off the cap. This cap has a dripper top in it. You're going to have to take that off. Okay, cut that off. And then I'm just going to pour a little bit from each of those bottles, the frankincense, lavender, and melaleuca. Now, you don't have the Roman chamomile in that touch kit. That's why you're going to want to add that Roman chamomile. Roman chamomile is really safe for newborn babies, and it's a really great one to have on hand, and you'll be wanting it. All right, so let's talk about some of those concerns we see during infancy and during that first year of baby's life, okay? Now, jaundice is something that's fairly common. And there's a reason for that. Babies, when they're in utero, when they're in the womb, they have a hematocrit, or a blood count of, well, it's not exactly a blood count, it's a hematocrit. And that talks about the oxygen carrying capacity of their blood. And their count is about 55 to 75. In an adult, our count is about 35 to 45. That's the normal range, okay? So in a baby at 55 to 75, they have a lot of extra red blood cells to increase the oxygen carrying capacity and nutrient carrying capacity during their womb time, so that they get what they need in order to grow and thrive and develop well, okay? Once they are born and start breathing on their own, they don't need that much, okay? That many red blood cells. And their liver's producing immature red blood cells. And so we have some die off with immature red blood cells really quickly. And the combination of getting rid of the excess and the die off of the immature, we end up with jaundice. So when the baby's skin color appears like they have a golden tan, that's jaundice. And so we check that by pressing on the forehead right here above between the eyebrows, okay? And when we let up, if it looks yellow, then press down here on the breastbone. And when we let up, if it looks yellow, check the tummy, the abdomen, and then check the shin. It's better if you check it over a bony prominence, okay? And so if you check the shin bone, you'll notice that from head to shin, it's going to be a little bit different. This will be much more yellow because they go yellow from head to toe, and then it recedes the opposite from toe to head, okay? And so their head will be probably pretty yellow, and their shin bone might be actually white, or their belly, their abdomen might be actually white. So you know it's down to this far, right? If they're if they've got jaundice. And so you want to consider using geranium oil and lemon oil. Now let me guide you a little bit on that. I would make a roller bottle. I would make a 10 milliliter roller bottle with some geranium and lemon. However, in today's world, when a baby is jaundiced, the doctor will say expose them to direct sunlight. And if they are exposed to direct sunlight with lemon oil on them, lemon oil is a citrus oil, and most citrus oils cause photosensitivity, which means it makes them more sensitive to the sun, okay? And so they can actually sunburn. Well, we don't want that on a newborn baby, okay? So I love using lemon oil on the bottom of their feet. So rather than making the roller bottle with geranium and lemon, I'd like to just put a drop of lemon oil on their feet for them to absorb it from the feet up. And then we can put geranium also on their feet, or we can put it in a roller bottle and dilute it just a little bit, okay? Now, geranium is really friendly for mamas and babies alike. It's a really, really great one, but that is my go-to for jaundice, okay? So now I want you to listen to that, all right? So a little dab of fractionated coconut oil, a drop of geranium and lemon oil, and apply it to the bottoms of their feet, all right? And again, if you're doing direct sunlight, leave off the lemon. Do that when you're indoors, okay? Because it's a really great one to break up the toxins and to help rid the body of toxins, and those dead red blood cells are what the body's trying to get rid of with jaundice. And the baby gets rid of that jaundice faster when they poop. So you want to be feeding them frequently so that they poop more frequently, okay? Now, a breastfed baby needs to be fed often. And I recommend that you wear those babies skin to skin for those first few weeks. I'm not exaggerating. Stay home as much as possible for those first few weeks. We don't want you out in crowds of people, but we want you wearing your baby skin to skin. And if you have your baby skin to skin next to mother's breast, they will smell their favorite restaurant and they will want to partake much more frequently. And that's the best thing you can do for a jaundiced baby. Get them to breastfeed more frequently, and they're going to poop more frequently, and they're going to get rid of the jaundice much more quickly, okay? The jaundice typically peaks at about 3 to 5 days after birth, okay? And so that's when you really want to be paying attention to this. If you've got other children and you've got a history of jaundice already, then go ahead and just start applying the geranium and lemon after birth, okay? All right, a crying baby. What do we do for a crying baby? What are we going to do? We're going to take that 4-ounce bottle of fractionated coconut oil with the oils on it. We're going to apply some of that and just love on them, keep them skin to skin, apply that to their feet. If you have a baby that seems ultra fussy and you cannot seem to console them, there's a reason for that, I promise, okay? If they are jaundiced and a high shrill cry, that's a sign of concern, okay? And you need to get them in to see the doctor and have a bilirubin test done. If they are fussy and you'll get to know why they're fussing. You'll begin to read their signs a little bit. Let me just tell you, that does not translate to your companion, okay, your partner. Because as you learn to read these babies' signs, it's almost like you can read their mind because they can't tell you what's wrong. And sometimes we expect that of our spouse, and that's not the case. So remember that we can start to anticipate a baby's needs and read their cues. But sometimes our spouse or our partner will not always read our cues, okay? So just remember that when these babies are born, the most important thing you do is to build trust and love on them. That's why I recommend wearing them skin to skin. When you wear them skin to skin, you actually produce prolactin, which is the hormone of bonding, and also for the mothers, the hormone of lactation. And daddies produce prolactin when they wear the baby's skin to skin too. Now, there is a real benefit from mothers wearing the baby's skin to skin because our breasts are a natural heating element, okay? So if the baby's cold, our breasts will warm them up to temperature. And if the baby's feverish, our breasts will cool them down. And that's remarkable. Men do not have that gift, all right? So that nurturing, mothering ability comes with all kinds of apparatus that we don't even fully understand ourselves. But putting the baby skin to skin next to the breast is the best way to incubate a premature baby and the best way to keep a baby at ideal temperature, okay?
All right, so we want to wear them, we want to feed them as they are exhibiting signs. We want to diaper them. Sometimes they're crying for diaper. Sometimes they're crying because they're overstimulated. And sometimes they're crying because they really don't feel good or something hurts. And I am a real advocate of getting babies, and newborns included, of getting babies in to see a chiropractor for an adjustment, because the birthing experience might have torqued their neck and they're having some discomfort, okay? And so if they are really not calm, cool, and collected like most babies are, then I'm just going to say, go get some help. Go to see a chiropractor, and then work with somebody like me that can guide you on what to use for that baby and keep them calm, okay? All right, so there's our bottle again, okay, to calm them down. Doing some infant massage, and you can actually Google that online, okay? Some infant massage is really good. I'm actually an infant massage certified teacher, but I haven't taught that for a number of years. But it's a really good skill to have as a parent, is to learn how to do infant massage and ask permission before you touch the baby and try to work to calm them down, okay? If a baby has an elevated temperature, now with my nursing background, I have my own comfort zone with fevers, okay? If a baby has an elevated temperature, my comfort zone is probably a little higher than yours, okay? Because I'm going to let that fever do its job. A child runs a fever to burn out what's getting them sick. And when we pull that fever down with something that will reduce the fever, like liquid Tylenol or Motrin, we're not allowing their immune system to do its job, and they will probably be sicker longer because we just shut down that immune response to burn it out of their system, okay? The thing I love about essential oils is that using the touch blend of peppermint or lavender on their spine and feet, and you don't need a lot, just one roll and feet, okay? You don't need a lot of those touch blends for a baby. That will bring their temperature down to a normal, not necessarily a normal, but it will drop it a degree or two so that you feel more comfortable with it. And it will still allow that immune system to do its job, okay? I've never ever gotten rid of a fever using essential oils, but it has lowered it a degree or two to where I felt very comfortable going off to sleep. And that's what I love about the oils. They're very effective and pretty immediate, okay? I usually see that within minutes or seconds, that lowering of the temperature, okay? Patchouli is another option to lower that temperature, okay? And you'll want to actually apply to the spine and feet, but you'll want to also dilute that patchouli. And patchouli is a pretty strong essential oil. It took me a long time to love patchouli, and now I absolutely love it, okay? And doTERRA's patchouli is magnificent. It's very sweet, very sweet. I get that. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. I get that all the time from people that love patchouli. Occasionally I fall into contact with somebody who used patchouli in their younger years. And usually it's the hippie years, the 1960s. If they were teenagers during the 1960s, they're going to love patchouli. Okay, and some people associate it as a hippie oil. Some people say all our oils are hippie oil, but patchouli is magnificent, and it's another option there, okay? All right, now here's another option with diaper rash. So I'm going to use my 4-ounce bottle first, right, for prevention. But another option would be to consider adding sandalwood and Immortelle to some fractionated coconut oil, okay? But here's another diaper rash ointment that you can make. 1/4 cup virgin coconut oil, 5 drops of lavender, 3 drops of melaleuca or tea tree oil. And you're going to melt that. Now, I don't recommend a microwave. That's on this recipe. But I don't recommend a microwave. But if you'll just put that, if you'll just bring a pan of water to heat, to boiling even, and then turn it off and set a bowl in there with 1/4 cup of virgin coconut oil, and just let it sit there until it melts. It doesn't take a lot of hot temperature to melt virgin coconut oil, okay? I remember years ago when I was in Arizona doing a DIY, we were making homemade deodorant, okay? And one of our ingredients was virgin coconut oil. And I was from Utah. Virgin coconut oil in Utah is a paste, unless you leave it out on the hot cement driveway during the summer, right? It's a paste. But in Arizona, it was not a paste. It was a liquid. And we had to put the deodorant that we made in the refrigerator to keep it from melting. So there was an aha lesson there, okay? So it doesn't take a lot of heat to melt virgin coconut oil, all right? But you want to bring it to a liquid so that when you add the oils, they're mixed in. And then you pour it into a little container, either a little tiny 1/2 cup jar, or you can buy some canisters on Amazon. or at aromatools.com has them as well. You'll just need a little tiny canister, okay? You can pour that, after you've added the essential oils, pour that in there, into that little canister, that little jar, and it will solidify, and then you can use it as a diaper rash ointment, okay? And so that's really, really simple to make, okay? All right, now thrush is something else that is usually a white coating on the tongue and the mucous membranes of the mouth on a baby that indicates yeast, okay? And so if you try to wipe it off with a washcloth or something, if you get it off, it will bleed if it's thrush. If it's just milk from breastfeeding or from taking a bottle, it will wipe right off. But if it's thrush, it will adhere to the mucous membranes, okay? It's fairly common, I'm sad to say, because our diets, ladies, many women have candida or a yeast, an overgrowth of yeast when they're birthing their babies, and so the baby gets exposure that way, all right? And so if they have thrush when we breastfeed, it's like a sandpaper on the nipple and areola. It's very uncomfortable. Very often mothers will complain of like they're being stabbed by thousands and thousands of needles when the baby breastfeeds. It's very uncomfortable, and you'll pass it back and forth. All right, so we've got to treat both mother and baby. And my favorite way to work with thrush is to use Melaleuca and myrrh, okay? I shouldn't have used that word treat, okay, because doTERRA doesn't treat, cure, or prevent anything, and yet I've used those words tonight. And that's what my experience has been, but I'm still not supposed to use those words, okay? So with thrush, you'll want to treat the baby's, you want to apply the oils to the baby's tongue, okay? And then also to the mother's nipple and areola. And so I love to make a roller bottle, okay, of using myrrh and tea tree oil, okay? Now, if you make a roller bottle using those two oils, how many drops are you going to put in there? And I'm going to say, follow your gut. All right, follow your gut. But when you use that roller bottle, now I'm fine to roll it on mother's breasts and then roll it on my finger and touch the baby's tongue with it, okay? I think that's perfectly fine. You're not going to contaminate anything. Oils have lots of antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties, and you're not going to contaminate anything when you're using it on both places. But applying it to the nipple and areola and then rubbing it on your finger and then rubbing your finger over the baby's tongue is a really great way to apply that, okay? How often would you do that? After each breastfeeding, okay? And that's how, and you could also apply it to the baby's feet, all right? So some people are uncomfortable applying it to the baby's tongue, but let me tell you, when you've got thrush, it's going to take a little bit of effort, and applying it to the baby's feet, it's going to work. It's going to take a little bit longer, and I would apply it to both. Just to put a little roll on the baby's feet and then apply it to their tongue, okay? All right. So let's talk about some other things that happen in that first year of life, okay? When babies start to teeth. Now, let me tell you, my first boy that was adopted, he actually didn't have hardly any teeth by the time he was a year old. My first biological son, Matthew, had all of his baby teeth by the time he was 10 months. Okay, that's a huge variation there. And so don't worry if your baby doesn't have teeth or if they get teeth early. If you're breastfeeding and they start biting you, some people are like, I'm all done with breastfeeding. That baby starts biting me. But if you'll just take the baby off the breast, the baby needs to breastfeed for a whole lot longer than when they start teething. Okay, but you don't want to be a teether while they're teething, and it hurts when they bite you, and they can actually break the skin, and it's really uncomfortable. But some things you can do to help with that teething, all right? And I'm going to do this with you tonight. Some things you can do is make a teething blend, and this is what I like to do. So I like to take this sample bottle, and I like to put 1 drop of each of clove. Now, clove has been used in dentistry for decades, okay? It's got a natural numbing benefit, okay, just 1 drop of clove, but it's also a very potent antioxidant, so it helps with inflammation, okay? And teething, you'll typically see some signs. So I'm going to take 1 drop each of clove, lavender, and Siberian fir. Then I'm going to fill it up with fractionated coconut oil, okay? So with teething, some of the signs you'll see, they might be trying to bite, okay, when you're breastfeeding, or they'll gnaw on the nipple if you're bottle feeding, okay? But when they do that, you'll typically see lots of drooling. You might see fussiness. They might be waking up in the night. They might not be sleeping well. They might want to eat at every moment because they're hurting, and that helps calm the hurt when you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, okay? And so that helps calm the hurt. And so they'll want to gnaw on everything, and they might want to chew on your finger. You'll notice if you put your finger in their mouth, and always wash your hands. But it's okay to let the baby gnaw and chew on your finger, right? That's not going to hurt, but that's where they gnaw and chew. You don't want to let them gnaw and chew on your breast, okay? And so at any rate, So now I have this little sample bottle for teething, right? And I'm going to label it teething, okay? And in fact, I'm going to have to post this online to actually send this out in a sample. Somebody can earn this little teething since my youngest is 12, okay? But actually, he was getting his 12-year-old molars not too long ago, and we used some clove in his mouth, okay? So I'm going to put that, so that sample bottle comes with a little orifice. I don't know if you can see that, okay? Then I'm going to put on top, I'm going to put the lid on, and then I'm just going to jostle it back and forth to mix that up evenly. So I've got 3 drops of oil in that little sample bottle. And again, there's about 30 to 40 drops total that this little sample bottle can hold. This is a 5/8 dram sample bottle, okay? So now when I get that out of there, I'm just going to take off the lid and I'm going to tap that, okay? Tap, tap, okay? And then I'm going to rub that on their gums. Now, I recommend, moms, that you rub it on your gums so you know what they're going to experience. Okay, it's not going to taste yummy. They're not going to like the taste of it, and they might fuss for a moment until the discomfort is gone. Okay, now Siberian fir is the only fir oil that we have that can be used internally. Okay, and so that's a really great oil to have on hand. It's great for lots of things, but this is one option we're going to use in the first year of life. And then you can take and you can rub that on their jawline, outside of their cheek. Okay, that's why we want only 1 drop of clove. Clove is a little hot, but with the other drops of fractionated coconut oil, it's not. So we can rub that on their cheeks on the outside. But I'm going to tell you, if you'll rub it on their gums, they will stop fussing and they'll actually go to sleep for you, and they won't gnaw on you when you're breastfeeding. Okay, so test it on you so you know that it's not hot, and that wasn't hot at all. 1 drop of clove, Siberian fir, and lavender. I hardly even taste it. Okay, the only oil I can taste there is the Siberian fir, believe it or not. Okay, so really gentle, but very, very effective. Okay, now here's a recipe for baby powder, and I have another one that I use. This is one that doTERRA had on their blog. Okay, this recipe. This is a little more entailed. I typically use 8 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, and then add. I use actually 10 drops. Yeah, there it is. 10 drops of lavender and melaleuca. Okay, to that baking powder or baking soda, or not the baking soda, the arrowroot powder. Okay, so I'll add 10 drops each of lavender and melaleuca to the arrowroot powder, 8 tablespoons. Mix that up really good, and then I'll put that in like a shaker bottle, okay? And I get my shaker bottles. I actually have some in my office right now because I ordered them from AliExpress, because I ordered them like the first of the year or last year, maybe in December. So I ordered them really early in order to do a DIY. But you can find them fairly cheap on Amazon, or they're cheaper at AliExpress, but you have to wait 6 to 8 weeks, okay? So just find them on Amazon. So you can actually find, or you can find them in like a kitchen store or a bathroom store. You don't want a salt shaker though. You want something with bigger holes than that, okay? But let me tell you the concern with baby powder, okay? You don't want to just shake it like this, because you create a dust cloud, and you don't want babies to breathe that in. So we don't recommend a lot of baby powder anymore, but certainly making your own with essential oils is much safer than using like a commercial baby powder. Okay, so beware of that. All right, make your own. So another recipe that doTERRA has is a 1/2 cup of arrowroot, a 1/2 cup of cornstarch, a 1/4 cup of finely ground oats. So you're going to actually blend this. Okay, you're going to blend this until you don't have pieces of oat, but it's really oat flour. Okay, that's what you want to do. So you want to really grind up those oats really, really fine. And then you're going to add a drop of Roman chamomile and 1 to 2 drops of lavender. That's really mild. Let me just tell you, that is incredibly mild. And you might want just a little bit more, but that combination of Roman chamomile and lavender is magnificent. Okay, and then again, put it in a shaker and then apply it to your hands, and then use your hands to rub it over the baby's bottom or over their fat rolls. Okay, so when would I use baby powder? If you're living in a very moist, humid climate, and the baby has lots of fat rolls, and they get what I call little redness or excoriation between the fat rolls, that's a real breeding ground for fungal infections. And so you want to keep that dry. So if they're sweating a lot between their fat rolls, that's where a baby powder, a homemade baby powder, would come in really handy. All right, and so there's my recommendation for that. Okay, eye infections is fairly common too. Okay, now let me tell you that eye infections and ear infections are more common in a baby that's bottle fed than a baby that is breastfed. Okay, and a baby that feeds in more of an upright position rather than a lying down position is less likely to have eye and ear infections. Okay, so what is the cause of that? Well, sometimes they can get an eye infection just with birthing, And sometimes they're exposed to something else, an unclean hand, or an unclean cloth or diaper wipe or washcloth. Sometimes they're just exposed to some goopiness and they tend to get it, all right? And so what you can do is consider squirting fresh breast milk right into their eye, or around their eye, and just rubbing it around their eye, okay? That will help with an eye infection, but it's fresh squeezed from the breast, okay? It's not something that's old, something that's been out on the counter or anything, or in the fridge. You want a fresh squeezed breast milk if you're breastfeeding, okay? Or go back to that 4-ounce bottle of fractionated coconut oil with the oils that we add, and then apply a little bit of that to their feet and rub it all around all surfaces of their toes. You want between, on top and bottom of toe, all around, all parts of the toes. And look at the reflexology points for the toes and find the toes. I believe it's the 4th and the 5th toe. I got my book in front of me. That is to do with the eyes, okay? And so that's where you want to apply it, okay? Hang on a second. I'll look at it right here. So this is a really great resource in the Modern Essentials book. It's have the reflexology points here. So if I look on here, for the eyes, okay, the eyes are the 2nd and 3rd toe, and the ears are the 4th and 5th toe. So the eyes are the 2nd and 3rd toe, and the ears are the 4th and 5th toe. So you're going to take that bottle with oils, that fractionated coconut oil with my favorite DIY for moms, okay, and you're going to apply that to your toes, okay? All right, if you choose to circumcise your baby, I'm going to make some recommendations. First of all, do your research, okay? Is circumcision really necessary? And if cosmetic purposes is the only reason you're circumcising, I'm going to recommend that you do a little more research on that, okay? If you're circumcising them to look like their daddy, I'm going to recommend that you do a little more research on that, okay? Because there's a lot more information out there now on circumcision. Now, when I graduated from nursing school, okay, in Casper, Wyoming, we were not doing many circumcisions. But on the East and the West Coast, they were doing lots of circumcisions, okay? And that trend gradually came to the Intermountain States. And now in the Intermountain States, we are doing upwards of 90%, 95, 98% of circumcisions. And then in the East and the West Coast, they are backing way off and they don't do very many at all. And in your other cultures, your Latin culture, your Asian cultures, they're not doing them quite as much as the Caucasian culture, all right? So take a look at circumcision research and find out if that's something you really want to do or not, okay? And if you want to reach out for more information, I can certainly help you with that, okay? But here's what I did. This is something I make for new mothers for a perineal spray. If they had stitches or swelling on the perineum, which is that tissue between the bottom of the vagina and the rectum, okay? This is what I use if mothers have had stitches or not. Sometimes if they have a little tear, I really prefer them not to be stitched, but that's not my call. It's their call, okay? And I have a number of midwives now that are no longer stitching. Stephanie first wrote this book, probably hasn't stitched in more than 25 years. Ginny West, and another home birth midwife friend in Albuquerque of mine, she hasn't stitched in over 25 years. And what they do is spray bottoms with this spray, okay? Now, before we had Immortelle hasn't always been available. Before we had Immortelle, we used frankincense, lavender, melaleuca, and some helichrysum, okay? And I think I've got that recipe on here somewhere. But this makes it really easy because the Immortelle blend has frankincense, myrrh, rose, helichrysum, lavender, and sandalwood in it, all of which are very healing for the skin and very good for lots of things. And so I use this same spray on mother's perineum that I do for the circumcision site, okay? Now, years ago when I was working in the hospital, for a long time we would say sponge bath the baby after the circumcision rather than immerse them. And then we learned that the bath heals the circumcision faster. So you do not need to worry about immersing that baby's genitalia when they've been circumcised in a warm bath. Okay, you don't need to worry about that anymore because we do it all the time now in the hospital setting. But this is a great spray, 1/3 of a bottle, and you're just going to take off the roller bottle. Immortelle is in a roller bottle, okay? You're going to take off the roller, and you're going to just estimate. You're just going to pour about 1/3, just a little bit at a time, in a 2-ounce glass, a spray bottle, just a little bit at a time until you have about 1/3 of a bottle, and then you're going to fill it up with fractionated coconut oil, okay? And then spray that on the baby's circumcision site after, or with each diaper change, okay? So that's a really great healing for the circumcision should you choose to do that, okay? All right, so what do we do if the baby's not sleeping well? Well, let me just tell you that the baby needs to breastfeed frequently, okay? In those first few weeks and up to about 12 weeks of age, we don't expect the baby to sleep through the night. And even at 12 weeks, some babies will not sleep through the night. Some babies will not sleep through the night for a long time. My second son, he wanted a bottle every 2 to 3 hours during the night. And in 11 months, we finally played a little bit of tough love and introduced him to a glass of water at 11 months instead of a bottle of formula during the night. Now, he was adopted, so I did give him formula. But at any rate, that's what we did with Jonathan. And he threw the glass at us. But it took us only a week of doing that, offering him a bottle of water or a glass of water during the night. And I think we did a glass. I can't remember exactly now. But it was water during the night. And he was like, I don't want that. And it took us about a week of a lot of fuss and a lot of effort on our part up with the baby through the night to get him to finally say, nah, it's not worth it. I'm just going to sleep. And that's how we sleep trained Jonathan, was to get rid of the bottle, the formula during the night shift, okay? So some babies, we can't expect them for those first few weeks and months to sleep through the night necessarily. Some babies are better sleepers than others. But having a diffuser is a magnificent help, okay? And I recommend in the diffuser to use 2 to 3 drops for a baby versus 3 to 5 or 5 to 8 for an adult, okay? So if I'm diffusing to clean out the air in my home, I'm probably using 5 to 8 drops. That's what I've got in my kitchen diffuser right now. Is actually 6 drops, I'll be really frank. I even have 6 drops of oil in there right now. And right now, I'm diffusing lemon oil, okay? But at any rate, these are some oils that are really, really helpful to promote calmness and sleep. Now you can put a touch of this on the baby's feet, or you can diffuse. And a diffuser is your best friend when you're raising young children, okay? It's your absolute best friend. So remember that. And so these are some options. And in the Serenity Blend, you have lavender, Roman chamomile, vetiver, cedarwood, some other things. So in the Serenity Blend, you've got several of those oils. There's no wild orange in the Serenity Blend, but you do have vanilla bean. In the Peace Blend, you've got a bunch of oils too, and those are my 2 favorite blends for me personally, the Serenity Blend and the Peace Blend. And for me, I apply them to my feet, the back of my neck, over my spine, and over my heart, okay, to just calm my mind and heart, okay? And so these are all great oils to diffuse, to bring a state of calmness so that baby will sleep better. And one other little tip I'll give you with a newborn baby and an infant is to make the daytime routine different than the nighttime routine, okay? During the day, you have a lot of interaction with the baby. You're talking to the baby a lot of interaction. And during the nighttime, it's quiet. It's whispers. It's taking care of baby's basic needs and putting them back to bed awake to learn to get themselves to sleep. Okay, so there will be a little bit of fuss there. But if you'll do that from the get-go, where you'll be more attentive during the daylight hours and less attentive during the nighttime hours, you will sleep train them. All right, so work with that. All right, so now we've talked about this already, dry skin, patches, and eczema, and we're going to use that fractionated coconut oil with the oils that we've already put in it. All right, so here's the oils for teething. Okay, and then remember that the touch kit is actually perfectly diluted for little ones. All right, here's some recommendations for some breathing support. Okay, like I said, diffuse. Your diffuser is your best tool while you're raising little children. And you want to keep it out of reach of the little children, or they'll dump it over. But diffuse. So if babies need some breathing support, then these are some oils I recommend, and I recommend diffusing them. And one of my favorite combinations is 2 to 5 drops total of, well, this is in a roller bottle, so 2 to 5 drops each of marjoram, frankincense, and eucalyptus in this 10 milliliter roller bottle. Fill it up with fractionated coconut oil. And then you're going to apply that to their chest, back, and feet. Okay, that's a good idea. Now, don't overdo it. Just a little bit with newborns, right? In fact, you're probably safe to just apply it to their feet, rub it in, and then rub your excess on your hands on their chest and back. All right. And then another option would be to use the Breathe blend or the Thyme. Now, Breathe is a little stronger than that marjoram, frankincense, eucalyptus. It's a little bit stronger, and so is the Thyme. The Thyme is a hot oil and needs to be diluted when applied topically. Those are really, really supportive for breathing support, okay? And they're still my go-to. All right, I love to use Breathe with little children, but it's a little bit strong for newborns, and so if you need additional support, then go for the breathe. Start with this other bottle first, the marjoram, frankincense, and eucalyptus. And then if you need additional support, if they've got like a serious winter issue going on with breathing and they're really struggling to breathe, I'm going to pull out the breathe, okay? And I might pull out some rosemary, and I don't have that pictured here too. Rosemary is another great one that's really helpful. Siberian fir, Douglas fir are also helpful for support for respiratory, as is cardamom. So now I just thought of a lot of oils that are really great for respiratory support and that you can use with a newborn. Okay. All right. We talked about elevated fever, elevated temperature. Okay. Earaches. I'm going to use my bottle of coconut oil with the oils already in it around their ears. I'm going to put it behind their outer ear on the bony area right here. And maybe in front, but with a newborn, it's typically behind the ear and on the reflexology points of the feet. Okay, and so if you've got the touch kit, these are the 3 oils I'm going to reach for. They're lavender, melaleuca, and frankincense. And you can roll those all on your hand and then mix them together, or you can just roll them all right back here on the babies. Okay, lavender, melaleuca, frankincense. Now, if one ear has an earache, and how do we know that babies have an earache? How do we know? Well, usually there's some clues. Okay, with an earache, we might see goopy nose, congestion, goopy eyes. Okay, because they're eustachian tubes and the sinuses and the eyes are all really, really closely related with a baby. So very often when we see goopy ears, we see goopy eyes and goopy throat, okay, and goopy nose. And so typically if we see that, just do prevention. Apply the lavender, melaleuca, frankincense touch for prevention. And then if that's not adequate, and I want to see results pretty quickly. I don't want to wait 24 hours to see this baby turning around. But if you don't have these other oils, thyme and basil, you're going to have to wait 24 hours, right? Till you can get some. Basil is a fairly strong oil, and thyme is a hot oil, so it needs to be diluted. But I'll use these 3 first, the lavender, melaleuca, and frankincense. And most of the time, ladies and gentlemen, moms and dads, this is enough. But if it's not, I'll add just a touch. Touch the top of an open bottle, just a touch of basil or thyme. Okay, and you'll see great, great results with that. All right, so, all right, now an owie spray is really helpful, and that's where I'm going to bring in my spray bottle. Okay, now you might see this in the first year of life, but you're definitely going to see this in children. Okay, and so if you have the Home Essentials kit, you're going to use the drops. If you have the touch kit, you're just going to pour a little bit in there in this bottle and then fill it up with fractionated coconut oil. And when we're talking about the touch oils are diluted perfectly for children, but we don't know what that means. I don't know for sure how many drops of lavender is in that touch bottle. I don't know how many drops of melaleuca oil is in that touch bottle, diluted with the rest of fractionated coconut oil. Okay, but I'm going to suggest there's probably about 20, 25 drops at least, maybe a little bit more. But that's about what you're going to find in there, okay, in that 10 milliliter roller bottle. And that's equivalent to 2 teaspoons of oil. So if I dilute oils for a newborn at 1 drop per 1/2 teaspoon, okay, you'll kind of get an idea of what's in that roller bottle, okay. And so that's a really great owie spray. Fill it up with fractionated coconut oil, and you spray it on a skinned knee, a skinned elbow, a boo-boo, a broken scratched face or something, okay? Spray it on your hands and wipe it on the face. You don't want to spray it in the baby's face by any means, okay? All right, if the baby's got upset tummy, again, we're going to go to that bottle that we made first, and then if we need additional support, we're going to use some Digest-Zen or peppermint oil, okay? Now, Digest-Zen has peppermint oil in it, so one or the other, you don't need both, okay? But that's really calming. And apply it to the baby's belly, and then use your hands to massage. Don't apply it all over the belly, just a little swipe, okay? And then use your hands to rub it in clockwise motion. That's how the intestinal tract goes in order to eliminate it. So we want to loosen that bowel, okay? Get their tension out so that they can release and go with the flow, and they can poop or pass gas or whatever they need to do, okay? So this is really, I'll tell you, I'm just saving you lots of sleepless nights, I promise. If you are prepared with the essential oils and you have what you need at your fingertips, you will be able to go back to sleep. I love, love, love that part of the oils, and we all go back to sleep. So when baby's fussy or not feeling well, I have what I need at my fingertips, and it brings so much peace of mind, okay? if we need to detox from shots and immunizations, now there's a lot of information now on immunizations, pros and cons. And I want you to really mull over the research as a parent, okay? Because that's a really important factor and a stressful one for all of us. But these are some oils that I like to use, okay, to kind of help detox from that injection, okay? It's not fun. Many of the babies get sick and run fevers. You've heard of all kinds of side effects from immunizations, but I'm going to say really mull over the research. You as the parent have to make those decisions or not. Okay, if you don't make them, somebody else will for you. And so you have to say yay or nay, and you get to do that. Okay, so these are some oils. And so how do I use this? I love to use frankincense on their spine, their brain stem, up into the neck, and their feet. On guard to protect their immune system. Okay, applying that to their feet. And I use the touch rollers. And then cilantro with dilution. Cilantro is a strong oil. It's not hot. It's just a strong oil. And that will help pull the heavy metals out, okay? And so with dilution, I would probably do a little teething bottle with 1, 2, or 3 drops of cilantro in there, and then use that on their feet to help pull out the toxins for the immunizations, okay? All right, so if the baby's got insect bites, I love, love, love the TerraShield blend. doTERRA's TerraShield is the best bug repellent out there, I promise. And so if you're putting, and it's already diluted with fractionated coconut oil, and you buy it in the 30 ml bottle, spray bottle. So I like to spray it on my hands and then rub me down and then rub the excess on my baby, okay? Not a lot, but rub the excess on my baby. And then if they get bites, the Melaleuca touch and the lavender touch are magnificent, okay? And so there's another suggestion for a baby with an elevated temperature. All right, for immune boosting and for just safety in the home, I recommend the On Guard products. Consider using the On Guard laundry detergent. It is a enzymatic formula, and it's really wonderful. You use a little bit, and you're not going to have a lot of sudsing like you will in another regular detergent. It's free and clear of known harmful toxins. And then the On Guard foaming hand soap is a really great antibacterial hand soap without all the toxic chemicals. Most of the antibacterial soap on the market, if not all of them, have some really toxic chemicals that really take away the skin protection that should be normally there. The On Guard foaming hand soap does not. It's a very gentle hand soap, but it's very antibacterial because of the On Guard blend. That is our protective blend, our immune boosting support, and it is magnificent, okay? Only if the baby's truly, really, really very, very sick would I reach for oregano on a baby. I would use thyme oil more often than that, and I would dilute it. But oregano is nature's most potent antibiotic oil, and so it's a really good one to have when you're really sick. And I make sure I always, always, always have oregano on hand, and I usually pair it with Melaleuca. Okay, oregano and Melaleuca together are a wonderful duo to help get children well. Okay, I do use oregano straight on a wart. Okay, but anyway, all right. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's been enlightening. And thanks for joining us. For those who watch this recording later on, I thank you for joining us. And I would love your feedback. So post feedback. I will post this video on our Creating a Healer in Every Home page. And I would love for feedback on it after you watch it. I know I've been a little bit long tonight and a little bit wordy, but I hope that it's been helpful and informative and that you feel comfortable reaching for your oils as you manage your little children and your babies, okay? It is a gift. These doTERRA means gift of the earth. And truly, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we have these precious gifts for a reason. And they have literally been a gift for our family. I love that we have managed our family's wellness for 9+ years now, solely with doTERRA. We have not needed to reach for any medicinals outside of that box. And I love having something safe that's natural, simple, safe, effective. Bye-bye. Good night for now.